Hello, today we're going to talk about the classification of life. Just so you know, there are about more than 3 million named types of organisms, so that's quite impressive. So let's define taxonomy. Taxonomy is the science that studies the relationships of one organism to another. It's pretty much the science of classification. So it's a science that studies the relationship and helps distinguish one organism to another. All right. So a taxonomist studies classification. So what's classification? Biologists classify organisms into categories called the taxa. It kind of gives a logical way of naming organisms. And when you classify something, you're putting objects or ideas into groups on the basis of similarities. Okay, this is going to help bring order to the great diversity of life forms and kind of serves as a basis for identifying unfamiliar organisms. And again, naming organisms is very important. So, Aristotle was the guy who made the first attempt to classify organisms. And there were two groups. He felt plants and animals. Okay, he classified plants based on their size. So he had herbs, shrubs, and trees. Animals, he kind of classified them based on where they lived. Did they live in the air, the land, or the sea? Okay, and this is his bust of what he would look like. So the naming system is binomial nomenclature. All right, so Linnaeus, okay, established a simpler way of naming organisms. Okay, this is in the 18th century. All right, each organism is defined by two names. It's their genus and their species or specific epithet. Now, Linnaeus assigned binomials to over 11,000 species of plants and animals. He also developed a filing system for grouping species into a hierarchy. Okay, so he was pretty important. So, we're going to use Latin as we go through these names. So the first name is going to be the genus. The genus is always capital. It's a noun and it's species with similar characteristics. Now we can abbreviate that first letter like you saw in the evolution. We did A afarensis, H habilis. Now the specific epithet is the species. That's the second name. It's very descriptive and it is a lowercase. So it's an adjective that describes the species. It's often, the color of the organism or where the organism was found. Or maybe it was the name of the person who discovered it. Okay, so some examples. All right, we have genus and species. Felis catus, that's the domestic cat, or it could be Felis silvestris. Okay, we have Canis familiaris, the domestic dog. Canis lupus, the wolf. All right, we have Memphitis memphitis, the striped skunk. Okay, so you need to know this order of hierarchy. So kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Okay, so there are 5 kingdoms. All right, then the phylums get a little bit more. That's a division. Organisms sharing the same characteristics of their kingdom. Class is a larger grouping. Order may have distinctive anatomy and way of life. Family are similar genuses. Genuses are species with similar characteristics, like domestic dogs, coyotes, wolves. It's based on homologies, okay? And it may contain many different species, okay? Like the genus Felis, okay? You can have a wildcat, an ocelot, a cougar, a house cat. Those are 4 different types of species. And again, the genus and the species makes up the scientific name. Now, kingdom is very little in common. They're all the things that you can think of. It's the broadest taxon. You have plants, animals, protists, fungus, bacteria. Okay? So each level is called a taxon. And we can go further and break this down into domains. Domains are kingdoms, actually 3 divisions that are above the kingdom level. Okay, and we'll talk about that in our next set of notes. You can see here, just so everything's been color coded. So this is the 3 domain system. the 6-kingdom system or the 5-kingdom system. We're going to focus in on the 5-kingdom system because these are 2 types of bacteria, but sometimes scientists do kind of break them apart. So if you have any questions, let me know tomorrow. Thanks.